The goal of United Against Police Terror is to have mobilizations to keep alive the 200 plus stolen lives murdered by San Diego law enforcement. And although this is, I want to share from our website, although this is the tip of the iceberg, these local cases are evidence of a horrifying national epidemic of police terror. The victims of police violence were part of our society, but rarely are their lives or names even published, or real circumstances surrounding their deaths investigated and made known. The Stolen Lives Project aims to restore some dignity to the lives lost through their lives that have been stolen from us, but we will not allow them to be forgotten. We have a short speaker list. We have different organizations that have joined us tonight. I would like for all of you to welcome from Colectivo Zapatista, Lupe, who also has supported Shekinah and her family.
Hi, thank you. As Kathy mentioned, my name is Lupe. I'm here representing Colectivo Zapatista. Colectivo is actually an organization built of students and also community organizers that are trying to bring justice not only to the deaths by the San Diego Police Department, but also the deaths by law enforcement such as the Border Patrol. Recently there was another death at the border, and this was a man struggling against some Border Patrol officers, obviously, and he lost his life. So it's not just one department committing crimes, but it's also a huge amount of law enforcement throughout the country. I also want to thank each and every one of you for coming. I know that it's Monday and it's cold, but now more than ever it is important to build community and to continue building momentum and pushing the movement forward, because obviously we have to let everyone know that, you know, Victor Ortega, he mattered. His life had worth. And the lives of all of these men and women, of course, and also, I mean, if you notice, they keep adding names to the list. And it is horrifying that these are just in San Diego. You have many cities across the country that are going through the same thing. So it is important to build momentum. And I just want you all to stay organized. I know many of you belong to different organizations, and it is great, but I want you to continue doing that. It's great coming here and marching and rallying, but it's also important to build a community and to organize and to stay in those organizations and create new actions. So I just want to thank everyone, and I want to let everyone know that we're here supporting Victor Ortega, and we're going to support you all the way. So just know that you're not standing alone, and we're here supporting you, and we're in solidarity with you. Justice for Victor Ortega.
Thank you so much, Lupe. Something that I wanted to mention, for these lives, we only are made aware if they have hit media or if that has happened to a family member, a friend, or loved one. There really is nothing in place as of now that will implement accountability to report all deaths and brutality by every single police department. I do believe that there is something in the works that would change going forward, but it's too late. I don't know why they haven't done this before, and there really shouldn't be anybody who has been murdered by a police officer or Border Patrol agent. That's the demand that we have. So we're not going to be satisfied. I mean, our list basically reflects victims all the way from 1984 to the present, and these are ones that we are aware of, that we're able to research. From the very first victim in 1984 to present day, it doesn't matter how long this person has deceased. They still matter. Their lives still matter. We are still advocating for them regardless, and we still demand justice for an investigation as far as the police officers involved, and what are the status, and have they been disciplined, and have they been fired? Has anything happened? So we're still pushing for that. I would like to welcome from the International Socialist Organization, Alex. who's going to be sharing a few words.
Hi everyone, my name is Alex. Like Kathy said, I'm a member of the San Diego ISO, the International Socialist Organization. We meet every Thursday right over here at the Community Center, so anyone out there who's interested in fighting against oppression and exploitation, feel free to join us. The reason I came out here tonight is because I want to see justice for Victor Ortega, just like I think everyone else here does, and justice for all the names on this list. And when I see all these names together like this, it really goes to show that these types of events are not random, they're not an aberration. They're the result of specific policies and procedures that the police and the people who control the police orchestrate. And the reason they do this is to maintain a status quo that exploits all of us. And so if we want to see an end to that oppression and exploitation, we need to come up with our own organizations and long-term strategies and policies to fight that, because they have their own organizations. The police are an organization that's meant to oppress people, and so we need to come up with our own organizations, activists on our own to fight against this, or we're never going to stand a chance. And so, like I said, the ISO, we meet every Thursday here at 6, and there's also a coalition that I forget what it's called, but I know it meets at the Activist San Diego House, which is right over here, I think on Landis, or which one is it? Whitman. Sorry, it's on Whitman. It's like a block west of here on Whitman. And I think that coalition, it's the idea is to bring people together from a bunch of different activist organizations here in San Diego to come up with a more broad-based, long-term movement against police brutality that's going to fight for justice for people like Victor Ortega. And so if anyone's interested in that, you can come talk to me later. I guess I'll end it there. Thanks.
Okay, so all of you are here for the Ortega family. It is with honor to introduce Shekinah, who has been the driving force, still keeping the momentum on this.
Thank you. I'm Shekinah Ortega. Most of you guys know me. And we're out here tonight because of the latest evidence that came out. They try to throw our case out, saying that, Officer McCarthy wasn't in the wrong and he didn't do anything wrong. And so the judge took a look at it, and I have his order, and I'm not going to read it because it's long, but there's some things in here that really anger me, make me mad. I'm really upset about this because Bonnie Dumanis, when she put out her report justifying Jonathan McCarthy, it was based on lies. She never did her own thorough investigation, her own independent investigation. All she did was take the police and their report, which was chocked full of lies, and said that this is why he's justified. But she told me and my family, and I don't know if she just said this to quiet us up, shut us up, but she said that if any other evidence was to come to light, that she would consider opening an investigation, reopening an investigation, or opening, because she never did an investigation. So that's what we're out here for tonight, is to put the pressure on her. There's a lot of things in the judge's order that I didn't even know about. Things like that Jonathan McCarthy said. He went from saying on June 4th, as everybody probably knows, the first report was that Victor picked up the gun and was pointing it at the officer. During our deposition with Sergeant Karsh, he said that they was wondering, that's not what happened. We know Victor didn't pick up the gun and point it at him. So Sergeant Karsh said that he formulated his own opinion of what he thought happened. So they went out to the media and they told everybody that Victor was pointing the gun at the officer, then later said, oh no, he didn't, but never went back out and told the community that that was not true. Another thing is that Bonnie Dumanis said that in her report that Victor had gunpowder residue on his hands because Jonathan McCarthy said that he was a foot away from him when he shot him and he was reaching for his primary weapon that was in his hand. So there should be some gunpowder residue on his hand. There should be some DNA on that gun that Jonathan McCarthy said that he reached for and touched it, but he was able to knock it out of his hand. But there wasn't any DNA on that. But in Bonnie Dumanis' report, she put that Victor had gunpowder residue on his hands. And in the judge's order, that's not true. So what I want to ask her is, why did you lie? Why did you put out a report that was false and lied to the community, deceived everybody? You know, people have trust for the district attorney. She is supposed to represent the people. You know, we are the people. So I want to know why are you lying? Why did you lie? What are you hiding? If he did something wrong, he needs to be punished for it. He needs to be, let the trial of the citizens of San Diego determine whether he did something right or wrong.
That's right.
I mean, it's clear as day. He came up with 5 different stories. So what we're fighting for now is for her to do what she said she was going to do. She said she was going to open up an investigation if further evidence was to come out. This is the evidence in my hand. So when are you going to open up your investigation? So that's what we're out here for. And if she needs help, I'm more than willing to sit with her, go to her office, and we'll go through this together. I'm so sure we can go through this together. And I'll point out everything that he said, that she said, that they said, that's not true. So that's what we're fighting for. And I thank everybody for being here. And take the time, if you could, because this is public, and you could look at it. And if anybody has Facebook, I'll post it on there, on my Facebook, so everybody can see. Because I want everybody to see the lies. It shouldn't be okay that the police could come out and lie on somebody. It's like killing them 2 times. You know, you killed them once, and then now you killed them again because you're lying on him. They knew on June 4th when they put that out in the media that Victor grabbed the gun and reached for it and pointed. They knew that that wasn't true. Matter of fact, they admitted that they knew that that wasn't true because he said that he formulated his own opinion on what he thought happened. You don't need a formulated opinion when there's facts.
That's right.
So that's what I don't understand, why Jonathan McCarthy is still a police officer, why he's still getting up every day, going to work, and still serving. I pray to God he don't kill nobody else. He needs to be off the streets.
Yeah.
The only way that's going to happen is if, well, I'm not going to say the only way it's going to happen because it's going to happen, but Bonnie Dumanis should do what she said. She's the district attorney that represents San Diego. So, you know, when cases go to her office, she needs to investigate them. Not take what the police said that happens. And by the way, everything that the police did give to her that said that happened didn't happen. And they know that it didn't happen. So basically her report and her justifying Jonathan McCarthy was based on lies. Why is that okay that you could put out lies and just go with that? Okay, this is what happened. We're just going to leave it at that. But that's not what happened. The truth, that's not the truth. We want the truth to come out.
That's right.
So, like I said, Bonnie Dumanis, I'm always available. So any day you pick the date, the time, I'll meet with you in your office and we're going to sit together and we're going to go over this together. Because seriously, we need to go over this. She needs to do something about this. Thank you, everybody, for coming out here and supporting us. This means a lot to me and my family. We won't never stop. We will always be fighting for justice. You guys will see me out here every month until Jonathan McCarthy goes to jail. He is going to jail. 2015. Thank you.
Justice for Victor Ortega, put McCarthy on trial. Justice for Victor Ortega, put McCarthy on trial. Justice for Victor Ortega, put McCarthy on trial.
Justice for Victor Ortega.
Put McCarthy on trial.
Justice for Victor Ortega.
Put McCarthy on trial. We got a couple more speakers, if I can let folks know. So, Donzella, would you like to come up and say a few words?
Yeah.
Shekinah's mom, in the struggle.
Hi, everybody, and thank everybody for coming here. Happy to see everybody out here. Everybody said everything really. It's all wound up in Shekinah's speech. And I just want the right thing to happen. I want a person that committed a crime to be arrested and treated like anybody else that commits a crime. Because if you or I were to shoot someone unarmed that posed no threat to us, they would arrest us immediately. I mean, you go to jail and you go to court and let a jury of your peers decide whether or not you're innocent or if you had a right to kill that person. And that's how I feel, that the police shouldn't be put in a different category, like they could kill and it's okay, and you know, they got a right to carry a gun and you looked at them wrong, so you know, they shot you, well, whatever. You know, no. They should be held to a higher standard than us because they're law enforcers. They're supposed to enforce the law. When somebody do something, now, it's just mind-boggling to me how somebody can arrest somebody for smoking pot when you just kill somebody. It don't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me. So just let everybody do whatever they want. If the police are going to do whatever they want, that's not good. And they're supposed to protect us. And now it's kind of a weird situation for me to be in a community where I'm afraid of the people who's supposed to protect me. When I see the police, I'm like, oh shit, I don't know if I'm gonna open my door or not. Of course, you better open up the door, because if you don't, they'll just bust the glass and snatch you out through the glass. They don't care. So, but it's a weird thing for the person that you trust to destroy the trust that you had in them, in the system. And for me, I think Bonnie Dumanis, she should think about it. They want us to respect the police, and we should if the police are respecting us. But if they don't respect us, how can you expect me to respect you when you just killed my son-in-law? Yep. You killed my brother, you killed my sister. It's hard for me to have that same respect that you actually should have for the police, but it's not possible if you don't get rid of the bad apples. You got to get rid of the bad apples, and you got to set an example to let them know that we're not going to let you get away with this kind of behavior. You do something against the law, and you're supposed to be enforcing the law, then you are going to do the time. You commit the crime, and you're going to do the time. That's what we have to live with. If we commit a crime, we got to do the time. It should apply to them too. In fact, those good apples in the department they should be over here with us.
That's right.
Basically. They say, oh, no, all of us are not bad. Okay, then let me see. Let me see which one of you guys are not bad. Let me see which one of you guys are against another member of your gang committing a crime. You should say something, do something. You don't, oh, okay, well, you know what, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to cover up for you. This what ain't nobody coming in this area. So let's put our heads together and think what we could say. Oh, I got it. Here's a gun, no fingerprints on it at all. Here, that's your secondary weapon, okay? It fell. He reached for it. He grabbed it. He pointed it at you. You feared for your life, and you shot him. That's it. That's the story, okay? Now, to me, that's conspiracy after the fact. You know that man committed murder, but yet you protect him. You protected him, and you helped him to deceive the people he was supposed to protect us. You helped. So many people thought, oh yeah, that wife beater. It's not true. Victor is not, he never was a wife beater. He never was. So for you to put that kind of information out there about somebody, it's like you kind of say you kill them again and again, over and over again. But the ones that are supposed to be good officers, maybe at the next rally that we have, let's see a show of hands of the good officers. Let's see them over here with us, rallying with us to get rid of the bad apples. That's what I would like to see at the next rally. Thank you.
On the note of domestic violence, in case you aren't aware, police domestic violence is twice as high as the general population, only because they know to use force and not leave a mark. They know how to stalk because they have the equipment to do so. They know information regarding the shelters, and they also have district attorneys, courts, everybody on their side. So hence, interesting that they're not a supportive force to victims of domestic violence, but in fact they are perpetrators a higher rate themselves. So there is a San Diego socialist campaign that it's going to get off the ground for 2016. Real representatives for District 9? Or, I'm asking, District 9? So we're going to have Cecile share a few words as far as what that campaign is about and what is it going to be like for the community of City Heights and District 9. Right now we have Marty Emerald, who cannot pronounce anyone's last name. Very disconnected with community members in City Heights. But without further ado, here's Cecile.
Thank you, Kathy. First of all, I wanted to thank United Against Police Terror and the members of Activist San Diego who have been continuing to organize since this movement has broken out again, thanks to the courage of the people in Ferguson who just refused to go away after the murder of Mike Brown. And they caught the attention of the entire country, and they caught the attention of the entire world. The police in this country are notorious in the rest of the Western world for being murderers. It isn't in every country that you have 2 to 3 citizens murdered every week. That's not a normal thing. It doesn't have to be that way. But we live in the belly of the beast, and our police in this country terrorize the people. And in Ferguson, they fought back and they wouldn't stop fighting back. And because of that, now the movement has come back in San Diego. Because Victor Ortega was killed 2.5 years ago in June of 2016, and the family has refused to go away and refused to stop fighting. So I'm really thankful that United Against Police Terror has not given up the fight, and it has, continued to organize, and that we're still here thanks to them, and thanks to Victor Ortega's family. I wanted to talk a little bit about what Kathy said is correct. We're trying to have a campaign for a candidate of the people, a socialist, for San Diego's City Council. And this would be for 2016, so we have about 1.5 years to build this campaign. And we want to invite members of the community to actually participate and help us build a platform, which means, what do we, the people of this district, of this community, what do we want to demand for San Diego? How do we want our community to be governed? And here in City Heights, police terror is a real issue. To start with, we have curfew sweeps in City Heights and in Southeast San Diego, which the members of United Against Police Terror and some other groups also in San Diego have been trying to fight against. These are racist curfew sweeps. If you haven't heard about the curfew sweeps, what they do is once or twice a month they'll go out and they'll pick up every kid that they can find on the streets under the age of 18 after 10 o'clock, because that's San Diego's curfew. And bring them into Cherokee Point Elementary School, and sometimes they'll have them there for hours until their parents can pick them up. Some parents have night jobs. Basically, they're criminalizing our kids. A lot of these kids are in youth programs. A lot of them are working. Some of them just got done with basketball practice or church. Basically, they were where they were supposed to be until the cops picked them up and dragged them over to Cherokee Point Elementary School. Now, the problem is, there's 2 problems. One, we don't need to criminalize our kids. If you feel it's unsafe for kids to be out after 10 o'clock, then bring them home. That would be the nice thing to do. But secondly, they don't do curfew sweeps in La Jolla, where there are kids who stay out after 10 o'clock. They don't do curfew sweeps in Claremont. They don't do curfew sweeps in Pacific Beach. They never, ever, ever do curfew sweeps in those neighborhoods because they're targeting communities of color. It's a racist policy, and it's completely unnecessary, and we need to end it. So I think that we should demand from San Diego to end the curfew sweeps. And I think if we had a candidate that was for the people and by the people, they would demand that we end the curfew sweeps in San Diego. The second thing I want to bring up, and this has been brought up for a while, because we have what's called a community review board in San Diego, and most people hiss when anybody mentions it because it's completely toothless. The people on the community review board are appointed by the mayor. The mayor oversees the police. So obviously it's the police policing the police, and we know how that doesn't work. It's completely ineffective. What we need in San Diego is a community elected review board. People like the members of Unite Against Police Care are the people who should be on that review board, because they're the people who do the research to actually, maintain a list of who has been killed and who's been targeted in San Diego. We also need an open review process of complaints in San Diego. So people can file a complaint against San Diego police, but there's no accountability whatsoever. You're not necessarily going to get a call back about what happened to your complaint. It's not going to get published anywhere. If that's the fourth time that there's been the same type of complaint against an officer, no one's going to know about it. We need an open, transparent complaint policy in San Diego where people can actually review what officers have had complaints filed against them and for what, so that we can hold them accountable. I also think that we should discuss some things that might sound a little bit more radical, but that I think some people here might support, and that I think we could get San Diego to force San Diego to have some conversations about. For example, I think we need to end drug enforcement. What does this mean? Does this mean, thank you. Because I don't think that it's criminal or dangerous in the sense of like putting, the victims in danger when people use drugs. I think that it can be dangerous if you abuse drugs, but I think that we should offer people help when they put themselves in danger in that way, rather than putting them in prison. And it would be much less expensive to offer people medical assistance when they need it for drug abuse, rather than to put them in jail for years and separating them from their families. People lose their parents because their parents get addicted to drugs, and instead of getting the help they need, they get thrown in jail. It's not helping anybody. We also need to prosecute the sex crimes by members of the San Diego Police Department. A couple of years ago, there was a scandal because it was found that the San Diego Sex Crimes Unit, which is supposed to help the victims of sex crimes, was actually victimizing women, doing exactly the opposite of their job. There were women detectives in the department who filed complaints because there were posters up in that office that basically were how to rape women type posters. And I know it sounds crazy, but that's exactly what it was. Those women filed suit. It was settled with a closed settlement, which means we don't know exactly how they settled it. Probably those women detectives in the police department that filed the complaint got money. But we don't know if those officers were even disciplined, let alone fired. They should be fired. How can we ever trust a police officer who thinks that it's even funny to talk about raping women? I also think we need to demilitarize the police. If you were at Occupy, or if you've been on any of these marches in the last couple of months, and you know how militarized the police are, it feels like we are public enemy number one. They're armed and we're not. We're exercising our First Amendment right to protest, which is supposed to be a sacred right in this country, and they're following us around with guns, heavy-duty gear, their motorcycles chasing us around everywhere. And that's just, what we've seen in the last couple weeks. But we have had armored vehicles chase us down. I mean, I myself at Occupy San Diego, and many of us here, there's no place for that here. And we need to end it. We need to return all military-grade weapons to the U.S. military. I wish that we would actually just, decommission them, take them apart. Maybe they could build coral reefs in the sea. I also think, and I think this will be my last point. I actually have a lot of points, but just so I'm not going on too long. We need to end collaboration between border enforcement and the police in San Diego. Yes. And besides the fact that this land is stolen in the first place, and that there's no such thing as an illegal alien or an illegal immigrant. what happens in San Diego is that if you are undocumented and you have had someone commit a violent crime against you, and women, victims of domestic violence, are especially vulnerable, they can't call the police because they have to fear that they might be deported from their home and separated from their families. That has to stop. And we can stop that in San Diego, but we have to fight for it. So I guess that's all I want to say, but if you have any ideas to contribute to the list that I just kind of laid out, or if you agree, or if you would like to add more, please come to our meeting this Thursday, the 15th. It's right here at the City Heights Rec Center over by the swimming pool at 6 p.m. It's the meeting of the San Diego Socialist Campaign. We want your ideas. We need everyone to help us build a platform. Specifically, we're going to be talking about police brutality. And so please join us for that. If you need any more information, just see me. Again, my name is Cecile. I'll be happy to speak with you, and can't wait to march for justice for Victor Ortega. Thank you.
Okay, real quickly, I just want to make a couple of announcements. So all of you are familiar, I mean, this is January, so we have our annual Martin Luther King Day Parade. We are looking to do an alternative parade, which is called the 4-Mile March. It's going to take place, it's going to start here in City Heights Park, and it's going to end at the Malcolm X Library. We're hoping to have an alternative march where it does not involve police, border patrol, or any other military force that actually is present in those marches, ironically. And we're hoping to have this for the public, and we welcome everyone to join forces and start a new alternative Martin Luther King March in San Diego. This Saturday, I'm also with an organization known as AFFIRM. We are a transnational feminist, transnational women of color organization. We are anti-imperialist, anti-militarization, and we are having at this location an organized march against police sexual assault, and also a demand for end heavy policing in our communities. There have been numerous cases of reported sex crimes in this area of City Heights, when in fact this is a heavily policed area, and the police are not the solution. So we have some comrades who have joined us from the Brown Berets. I didn't know if they wanted to share anything at this time. Okay.
Okay, gracias. Que viva raza.
Viva!
The Brown Berets have been fighting for justice for Chicanos, Mexicanos, for as long as the Berets have been in existence. And this is going to have to continue. The only power we have is the people that are here today, and the people that come out to rallies and marches is very important, because this is the only power we have. We don't have no dinero. We don't have no all the power that the government has. So whether it's the government here in the United States or whether it's the government in Mexico, the only power that we have is ourselves. Yeah. What happened to Victor is going to continue. The lies that they said on those reports, we can't trust anything. Whether it's the Border Patrol or whether the police department, doesn't matter. We can't trust for what they say, because they always continue to lie. We got to have our own investigation. And in Victor's case, it was like Noel Rojas, who a few years ago was also murdered for going through a stop sign. He's 16 years old. The family didn't want to say nothing porque ellos no tienen papeles. But in that case, the police said that he had a toy gun. And we talked to the grandpa. We did our own investigations, because we can't trust their investigations. We did our own investigations. We talked to the family that was with him, and they said he never had such a thing. So they just planted it there, and so they got away with murder. In Victor's case, they're also going to get away with murder unless we do something about it. And it's got to be us, and it's got to be these rallies. I don't like to make a lot of speeches, but the speeches are important because it's like music, you know, when you hear music over and over, sometimes you keep hearing it again to inspire you. Well, we're just another organization to tell you that all these things are real. And the mothers and the fathers and the children who suffer because they murder us, cannot continue to go without consequences.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop talking now. I know it's cold. You want to start marching. En México, por los mexicanos, hay una tradición que voy a decir el nombre de la persona y ustedes responden con presente. This is an old tradition that Mexicans have because it's showing that the spirit of Victor is here with us alive. So when I say his name, I'm going to just say it 3 times. And we say his name, you know, and with ganas, that means with a lot of spirit, you know, you'll say presente. So when I say the name Victor, you say presente. And some people believe that brings the spirit here and he's here with us. So I want to do that, but just before I do that, we had a friend here from East Side that was also murdered just recently, Francisco Cisnera, and he was murdered by the Border Patrol. The report that they said Francisco attacked him, and he was surrounded by Mira. He was not. We know that he would have never done anything like that, and then all of a sudden, after 4 hours of being in custody, that all of a sudden he's going to attack them. So anything they say, really, we don't believe. It's their life. So I'm going to say Victor's name, but I'm also saying it for all our other victims in their spirit as well. So I say Victor's name, and por favor, just say presente con ganas, por favor. Victor!
Presente!
Victor!
Presente!
Victor!
Presente!
Muchas gracias.
Let this be his last offense. Now you have the evidence. Let this be his last offense. Now you have the evidence. Let this be his last offense. Now you have the evidence. Let this be his last offense. Now you have the evidence. Let this be his last offense. Now you have the evidence.
Well, I mean, we don't really know where he works now.
Now you have the evidence. Let this be his last offense. Now you have the evidence. Let this be his last offense. charge you with homicide. John McCarthy, you can't hide. We charge you with homicide. John McCarthy, you can't hide. We charge you with homicide. John McCarthy, you can't hide. We charge you with homicide. John McCarthy, you can't hide. We charge you with homicide. John McCarthy, you can't hide. We charge you with homicide. John McCarthy, you can't hide. We charge you with homicide. John McCarthy, you can't hide. We charge you with homicide. John McCarthy, you can't hide. We charge you with homicide. SDPD, what do you say? How many people to kill today? SDPD, what do you say? How many people to kill today? SDPD, what do you say? How many people to kill today? SDPD, what do you say? How many people to kill today? SDPD, what do you say? How many people to kill today? SDPD, what do you say? How many people to kill today? SDPD, what do you say? Are you kidding me? SDPD, 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 are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Join us, man. Join us.
Are you kidding me? 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 Justice for Ortega! 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 How many people have you killed today? STP, what do you say? How many people have you killed today? STP, what do you say? How many people have you killed today? STP, what do you say? How many people have you killed today? STP, what do you say? How many people have you killed today? How many people have you killed today? How many people have you killed today? What do you say? How many people have you killed today? STPD, what do you say? How many people have you killed today? STPD, what do you say? How many people have you killed today? STPD, what do you say? How many people have you killed today? STPD, what do you say? How many people have you killed today? STPD, what do you say? How many people have you killed today? STPD, what do you say? How many people have you killed today? People die. Cops lie. 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 People die. Justice for Victor Ortega. Got to stop. McCarthy is a killer cop. Police brutality has got to stop. McCarthy is a killer cop. Police brutality has got to stop. McCarthy is a killer cop. Police brutality has got to stop. McCarthy is a killer cop. Police brutality has got to stop. McCarthy is a killer cop. Police brutality has got to stop. McCarthy is a killer cop. Police brutality has got to stop. McCarthy is a killer cop. Police brutality has got to stop. McCarthy is a killer cop. Police brutality has got to stop. McCarthy is a killer cop. Police brutality has got to stop. McCarthy is a killer cop. Police brutality has got to stop. McCarthy is a killer cop. Police brutality has got to stop. McCarthy is a killer cop. Police brutality has got to stop. McCarthy is a killer cop. Police brutality has got to stop. McCarthy is a killer cop. Police brutality has got to stop. McCarthy is a killer cop. Police brutality has got to stop. McCarthy is a killer cop. Police brutality has got to stop. McCarthy is a killer cop. Police brutality has got to stop. McCarthy is a killer cop. Police brutality has got to stop. McCarthy is a killer cop. Police brutality has got to stop. McCarthy is a killer cop. Police brutality has got to stop. McCarthy is a killer cop. Police brutality has got to stop. McCarthy is a killer cop. Police brutality has got to stop. McCarthy is a killer cop. Police brutality has got to stop. McCarthy is a killer cop. Police brutality has got to stop. McCarthy is a killer cop. Police brutality has got to stop. McCarthy is a killer cop. Whose streets? Our streets. Whose streets? Our streets. Whose streets?
Our streets. Come join us. Come join us. Fuck the police. Fuck the police.
Our streets. Whose streets? 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 Our streets.
Without that badge, you a bitch and a half.
Our streets. Whose streets? Our streets. Whose streets? Our streets. Whose streets? Our streets. Whose streets? Our streets.
Without that badge, you a bitch and a half.
Justice for Victor Ortega. 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 Justice for Victor Ortega.
Right on, brother. Thanks for smiling.
Justice for Victor Ortega. 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 Justice for
Mr. Ortega! We got one there. John McCarthy, do your time. Being brown is not a crime. John McCarthy, do your time. Being brown is not a crime. John McCarthy, do your time. Being brown is not a crime. John McCarthy, do your time. Being brown is not a crime. John McCarthy, do your time. Being brown is not a crime. John McCarthy, do your time. Being brown is not a crime. John McCarthy, do your time. Being brown is not a crime. John McCarthy, do your time. Being brown is not a crime. John McCarthy, do your time. Being brown is not a crime. John McCarthy, do your time. Being brown is not a crime. John McCarthy, do your time. Being brown is not a crime. John McCarthy, do your time. Being brown is not a crime. John McCarthy, do your time. Being brown is not a crime. John McCarthy, do your time. Being brown is not a crime. John McCarthy, do your time. Being brown is not a crime. John McCarthy, do your time. Being brown is not a crime. John McCarthy, do your time. Being brown is not a crime. John McCarthy, do your time. Well, what's the song on? John McCarthy, do your time. Being brown is not a crime. John McCarthy, do your time. Why so serious?
Victor Ortega, put McCarthy on trial. Justice for 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 Victor Ortega, put McCarthy on trial. Indict, convict, and accuse Officer True. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict,
Come on, come on.
Indict, convict, put those killer cops in jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, put those killer cops in jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, put those killer cops in jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, put those killer cops in jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, put those killer cops in jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, put those killer cops in jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, put those killer cops in jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, put those killer cops in jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, put those killer cops in jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict,
Convict,
put those
killer cops in jail.
The whole damn system
Is guilty as hell. Indict, convict. Justice for Victor Ortega! Justice for Victor Ortega! Justice for Victor Ortega!
Justice for Victor Ortega, put McCarthy on trial. Justice for Victor Ortega, put McCarthy on trial.
Justice for Victor Ortega! Put McCarthy on trial!
Justice for Victor Ortega, put McCarthy on trial. Justice for Victor Ortega, put McCarthy on trial. All the time. Victor Ortega, put McCarthy on trial. Justice for Victor Ortega, put McCarthy on trial. Justice for Victor Ortega, put McCarthy on trial. Justice for Victor Ortega, put McCarthy on trial. Look at your knees, put McCarthy on trial. Justice for Victor Ortega, put McCarthy on trial. Justice for Victor Ortega, put McCarthy on trial. Justice for Victor Ortega, put McCarthy on trial.
If we don't get it, shut it down! If we don't get it, shut it down!
Justice for Victor Ortega, put McCarthy on trial. 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 Justice for Victor Ortega, put McCarthy on trial.
All these racists are up top!
We want freedom, freedom. All these racists.
If we don't get it, shut it down!
Protest, no arrest. Peaceful 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 protest.